What is your side hustle? Hello, 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 and welcome again back to another daily devotional. Have you ever felt like you're trying to make a difference, but it somehow feels that you're stuck in a huge place that feels completely unspiritual? Like maybe your job, maybe your side hustle. Well, today we're going to go into a sort of desert place with Jesus and his disciples and see how Jesus flipped the script. So, our scripture today comes from Matthew chapter 14, verse 15 and 16, and it reads, "And when it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, 'This is a desert place, and the time is now past. Send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves victuals.' But Jesus said unto them, They need not depart, give ye them to eat." So again, the scripture says victuals, and we know that's food for hunger. They were there with Jesus all day. He had been preaching. The crowds were there. They were gathered. Think about going to your favorite concert, and this was better than what your favorite concert could ever give you. The multitude, they stayed. They stayed all day. They didn't even leave. They didn't want to leave. Have you ever been somewhere where it was just so good you didn't want to leave? Well, that's what this was. So good they didn't want to leave. But understand, they were getting hungry. The disciples told Jesus, "Hey, the hour is getting late. We don't have any food for these people. Let them go so they can go get some food." Well, guess what? I'm pretty sure the disciples were hungry themselves. Understand, God calls us to meet people's practical needs right where they are. One need where you can meet people right where they are is through hunger. If someone's hungry, don't preach at them, feed them first, and then talk to them about God. If I'm hungry, I know this. I'm not paying attention to what you're saying. I'm paying attention the next time I'm going to eat. Remember, Jesus saw a problem. Well, his disciples saw a problem, and they proposed a practical and logical solution. They said, send the people away to fend for themselves. But again, here's Jesus being Jesus and doing the unexpected. Send them not away, give ye them to eat. Now remember, he turned a logistical problem into a divine opportunity. Remember, this talks about how our work, even something as simple as health, can be a means of gospel enlightenment. Now, a radical idea is that we've all been taught, to separate spiritual life from work life. We think of evangelism as, something to do on a mission trip or a specific church event, not while we're just, serving coffee or stocking shelves. However, the passage in the Bible challenges our mindsets. It urges us to see where we are as our spiritual field, our ministry field, our daily interactions, our businesses, our jobs, not just to keep gaining on the side, not just to keep up with the side hustles, but they are crucial as part of God's mission. Our work, no matter what space it is in, can be a sacred space. All you got to do is shift your perspective. Now, meaning, the person who delivers your food, the one who designs the packaging for the products that you get, the person who runs the register or packs your bags, all of them are called to represent the character of Christ. What are the little things in life that you do that show God's love? And look, it may not be little things. There may be a whole lot of things that you're doing that show God's love. It may not be on a grand scale, but these little things, these little touches, they are touching people's lives. They're touching and affecting people's life. They're showing love where typically you wouldn't think to. Remember, this is called special wisdom, where we seek to simply share God with people through everyday genuine acts of care. Remember, these have to be genuine acts of care. Okay? People can spot a fake from miles away. So remember, your work is your ministry. It's a desert place where you can be a channel for God's miraculous provision using what you have to meet the needs of those around you. And as a follower of Christ, that's simply what we got to do. We got to meet the needs of those around us. We got to know when to speak and when to serve. We got to look for practical opportunities to meet people's needs, a customer, a coworker, a stranger. You don't have to wait for a miraculous feeding in the desert. God has already given you what you need to be a blessing right where you are. So I pray this morning that the Lord helps you to see your job as your mission field, or wherever you are as your mission field, and the people you come into contact with, give them the wisdom to know when to speak and the humility to serve. Let your work be a channel of God's light. Have a great day.